Welcome to SFBay-Insider and a visit to the Straus family Creamery farm, just north of San Francisco. Straus was the first organic milk producer west of the Mississippi and today one of the most environmentally friendly businesses in all of California.
So in this area, we call it the Straus Spa. They come in here and they get a little break from their work because all of them are close to birthing. They're within 21 days or less. Cows have a 9-month gestation period and they give birth to a calf every 13 months. There's a few months off there where they aren't milking and they get to hang out and do nothing at all and just kind of relax, which is pretty cool. That's up in the pastures after they're birthing. The cows don't all look the same here. You see different colorings. The black and white ones, anybody know the name of the black and white spotted one?
Holstein. Holstein!
Yay! And there's a brown one, especially the one way out there with the brown hair on the top. That's
Jersey.
Jersey, you got it. A Jersey in there. The Holsteins are for the major amount of milk that they produce. And the Jerseys are here for their butterfat content, so they make the products taste even better. We have currently 300 milking cows on the farm and another 300 young cows that are still growing and getting prepared to replace the other ones. They're about 660 acres, so they have a lot of grazing space per cow, which is really unusual to have that much space per cow. Yep. No antibiotics. We don't do any antibiotics to any of the animals either. You can actually give them an antibiotic and take them out of the herd for a while, but if that happens to be the case with any of the animals on this farm, he actually removes them from the herd and they don't come back. He sells them off.
No pesticides for the grazing?
No pesticides on the land at all. None of the feed that comes in has any pesticides. No fertilizers anywhere. And when they get sick, they get an aspirin is about the most. There's actually a homeopathic doctor that takes care of them when they get sick and usually puts a all-natural formula together for them. There isn't a lot of illness on this farm because they're really very well cared for, so he hasn't had many problems. And the other thing is that they really minimize the stress for these cows as much as possible. And then you'll see when we go up to the feed barn, it's a really balanced diet for all the cows and depends on their age. They have individual beds in the barns and the stalls, and special rice beds that they get to sleep on. And they actually have bug zappers that are electric and solar powered in the barn and out in the pasture to help them, so it's a little bit more comfortable. Our cows eat locally. They eat a happy and healthy vegetarian diet. We grow over half of our cow feed, organically of course, and the rest we try to source within 100 miles from here. But there's a really cool truck that often is sitting here that they have a cow dietitian that takes certain amounts of the feed and blends it in this truck, and it knows by the digital readout of the weight per grain of what's supposed to go into it, depending on which group of cows are being fed at the time. So if it's the younger group, they get a different diet. If it's the milking cows, they get a different diet. And this truck actually does all the blending and mixing and tells them what amounts go into each one.
That body of water in the background is Tamales Bay, and beyond that, Point Reyes Peninsula, and beyond that, the Pacific Ocean. Now, about silage.
It's made out of oats, vetch, peas, and beans. And it's all fermented. The idea is it's in a stack like that so it ferments. Often there's a tarp that's put over it to help with the fermentation of it. That helps them feed through the winter months. And they use it a bit now as well, even though they're out of pasture. The pasture's pretty brown, so they use it as supplementing along the way. And it's extremely good for you, like sauerkraut is. It's filled with enzymes that are good digestible enzymes, and you can actually, if you want to taste it, I've had people taste it before. It doesn't taste that bad, and it smells really, I think, pretty cool. Is it good?
It's kind of like syrup.
You can grab some of it if you want.
What's it taste like?
Wait, what did you say?
He said somebody did no, we did throw some salad.
Taste fermented?
It's got oil in it.
I think so.
Right over here.
Here, the young calves
You
hanging
guys
out
can come
together
around and look
are
at
being
it
weaned
anytime
from
you
their
want. This
mothers.
one's drinking from it. It's a new milking system that Albert discovered over in Germany, and this is the only one that exists in California. And it's more natural for the calves. They used to actually get fed out of little buckets of milk, which is taken straight from the dairy barn. But this is, they can come over and sip on this at any time if they want. It's a computerized system. They have chips in their ear so that it marks how much they're eating per day. And then it gives them the amount of milk that they're supposed to get. So if someone really goes in there and eats a lot, it'll eventually slow down for that day.
Go ahead and have some more. Have some more. Yep, it's there. It's there. Nope, I don't have any. I don't have any. It's right there.
So the cows are coming into the barn for the late afternoon milking. All is calm and quiet, as the routine has obviously been perfected. These girls, with names like Pearl and Gertrude, shouldn't have a lot to complain about.
All the cows are into the milking barn here. You can take a look through these windows here, and they get milked twice a day, 4 a.m. in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon. And it takes about 8 minutes to milk each one of the cows. And they put out between 4 to 6 gallons of milk a day. That's with both milkings. Their udders and their hooves are all checked before they get milked for good health and make sure there aren't any issues along the way. And then their teats are dipped into an iodine solution for disinfecting. So you'll see like an orangish color on the ends of the teats that has to keep disinfected so that nothing gets into the milk. But they definitely have a pecking order, and there are certain ones that, and they pretty much come out of the field in the same order every day. There's a tracking chip in these cows as well, and it's the size of a grain of rice that's put into the cow's leg, and that's their ID bracelet, if you will. So when they come in to milk, it registered who the cows are, and then it records how much milk they give each day, and it also measures the quantity of cream content in their milk, so they can get an idea of who's doing what. They also usually have, I'm not sure if they are today, but they usually have music playing during the milking, and it's mellow music, keeps the cows mellow. When they're in their beds often, and we'll go up there and take a look at that area as well, they get manicures, and if they need it, if there's something wrong, we call them manicure. They work on the bottom of their foot if there's a stone caught in it or something else, or if there's some kind of an infection that's happened. Cool. We're going to go over to the methane digester area. But it saves a ton of money. That was the first methane digester, one of the first in all the state of California to go in out here. They got a grant from the state to try it out, experiment with it, and it paid itself off in about 4 to 5 years. So what happens with that waste, it actually comes down in a series of ponds where there are water ponds up there as well that all comes into the system and on through. Ends up in here, gas is collected, goes through the piping system here that you see, back into this tank in the small red barn there. Has a huge, not huge, but a generator in it that burns off, let me get this right, I haven't done this in a while. Well, first in here, this creates anaerobic digestion within the anaerobic, which means without oxygen, so that's why it digests so much quicker. And it takes about 30 to 40 days for it to ferment and the gas to come up. Which is really, really important because methane is extremely harmful to the environment. It's actually worse than CO2 by 21 times to the ozone. So, more we can capture and turn into electricity and make good use out of. There are a lot of other farms that are starting to do this, especially in the Central Valley, which is really good because there are a lot of large farms down there. And the electricity electricity companies are finally getting involved in it and are also giving out some kind of grants and rebates and stuff to incentivize that, which is really cool. So then the gas is pumped in through to a combustion engine and fuels to power a 75 kilowatt generator, which converts that to electricity, or to electric power, excuse me, not like the electricity you were talking about earlier, which again saves them about $4,000 a month. And then it's also feeding back enough on the meter, which the Creamery gets some, takes advantage of the additional as well. And not only is it great that it's, you know, the methane is not polluting into the environment, but it's also stopping the runoff out into Mollusk Bay, which is majorly important with all the oyster farms along here. So this is one of the dairies that the oyster farms actually gets along with just fine. We have ice cream, yogurt, milk, cream, butter, sour cream now, and now we're doing a lactose-free milk as well. We don't make cheese, but Cowgirl Creamery's own cheese, not other cheeses that they sell, but the ones they make, are all 100% our milk. So you know that that's being used in there.
Hi, Albert.
Hi, Albert. We've been waiting. There's some questions on the methane digester in details that you might be able to answer for us.
Okay, my question was, why are you using a white cover and not a black cover? Was that just the time, or
We put it on upside down. Or actually, it's made. It was upside down.
Oh, okay.
The other side's black.
I love it. Such an honest answer.
Yeah.
And then Albert Straus shared his amazing ice cream with us. Yum. Note that life on a Straus dairy farm, if you are bovine, includes manicures, mood music, mattresses made of rice husks, cute names, ample grazing, one's own nutritionist, and holistic doctor. I want to come back as a Straus Jersey cow, providing high butterfat content milk for making perfect ice cream.